Okay, we need to talk about Disney's new Lilo and Stitch, because wow, they changed a lot. If you've seen it, you probably noticed some things felt off. Characters got rewritten, others were just straight up removed, and the ending was nothing like we remember. So in this video, I'm gonna break down everything they changed in this new live action remake, and why, at least in my opinion, a lot of it didn't work. I'm actually a really big fan of Lilo and Stitch, so I genuinely had fun watching the movie, but there were definitely moments that annoyed me. We need to start out with how they decided to do the beginning, because for any fans of the original, you know how important that opening scene is, where Jumba gets taken before the council, gets locked in prison, and Stitch plans his escape. And we'll get back to Jumba because they really butchered his character, but this scene set the mood perfectly before we get introduced to Lilo. This movie just did not do justice to that scene. To say it was rushed would be an understatement. They cut this entire segment of the movie down to about 5 minutes, and I really felt like this was done not as a stylistic choice, but simply to keep audience retention. I really felt like I was watching the brain rot version of Lilo and Stitch. They wouldn't even let a shot last for more than 3 seconds before cutting the camera. I felt like it was giving me a headache. And speaking of brain rot, and this is something that really annoyed me a lot actually, this movie doesn't even take place in 2002 anymore. It takes place in modern day. They have phones, computers, and there's even a scene with a Bruno Mars song. And we got some of the most cringe references to modern culture. I'm not kidding when I say this is a direct quote from the movie. Cobra Bubbles literally says, "They better not be doing one of those tic-tac dances." I wish I could say I was joking, but I'm not. Yeah, Cobra Bubbles, he's another character you'll notice they changed a lot in this movie. First of all, they completely cut his role as a social worker and replaced him with a new female character. So that whole scene where he comes in and interviews Lilo, it's mostly there with the same beats and everything, but instead of Cobra, it's a new character. He's still a CIA agent, but instead of saving the reveal for the end, they just make it known from the beginning, which kind of kills the intrigue if you ask me. I also just wasn't a fan of the way they portrayed him in general. They just made him so goofy. It's like they forgot that he was actually supposed to be intimidating. But we need to talk about the single biggest issue I have with this movie, and it's the fact that they completely removed Captain Gantu, the only villain that was actually a real threat. And instead they tried to shoehorn Jumba into his role as the main villain. It's like they forgot that Jumba wasn't actually meant to be taken seriously. He's just the goofy minion before the final boss. Gantu created a perfect escalation of the stakes, and removing him not only made the final battle feel way less intense, but it also completely ruined Jumba's redemption arc. He never becomes part of the family in this one or has any change of heart. He just gets defeated. His character was completely wrecked. I would almost say borderline removed from the movie, because both him and Pleakley aren't even aliens for most of the runtime. Remember how in the original they go around dressed up as humans? It made for some good laughs. But yeah, in this one, they just become humans through some sort of shapeshifting. And even in the scenes where they are actually aliens, they still give none of the same energy that they had in the original. Pleakley is fine, I guess, but my real problem is with Jumba. The voice is way off, and they completely got rid of his Russian accent, which is what made him iconic in the first place. I will say, I actually love the casting choice for Lilo and Nani. I just didn't like the way that Lilo was written, if I'm being completely honest. She acts way too much like just a normal kid. It's like they forgot the fact that Lilo is supposed to be weird. And again, it's just one of those things that gets lost in the switch to live action. Those over-the-top moments that clearly convey to the viewer, hey, Lilo's actually kinda strange, are either really watered down or just completely removed. Take for example the scene where Lilo beats up Myrtle. Here she just pushes her. They completely drained the scene of any over-the-top drama. And I don't know what's up with Myrtle either, because she's not even a redhead anymore. But yeah, like I said, the big thing is they changed the ending. The ending is completely different in this one, and it really threw me off. We all remember how the ending went in the original. The Galactic Federation captures Stitch, then Lilo comes in and shows the receipt for when she purchased him, and they allow him to live happily ever after with his new family. But that's not how it went here. Instead, they gave Stitch a fake-out death. I seriously don't know who thought that was a good idea or why that was necessary. This trope is so done to death with Disney, it's not even funny. I was literally rolling my eyes in the theater like, come on now, do you seriously expect us to believe Stitch is gonna die here? If this was how it went down in the original, then fine. But did they really need to go and add this in? That scene, you can tell, was directly inspired from the animated sequel, Stitch Has a Glitch, if you've ever watched that. The other thing too, and maybe you think this is small, but why did they remove the part where Lilo shows proof of ownership? In this one, they just let him go for no reason. It's a little weird. Anyway, that's how I felt about the new Lilo and Stitch, and these are some of the things they changed. There were some things I I like. It was a decently fun movie, but if anything, it just makes me appreciate the animated one even more. If you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and bye.